mind as we open our mouths. May you feel it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Good morning and welcome to My Health, My Mississippi, WMPR 90.1, where we're going to provide you some healthy information you can grab on the run. We are the number one station in the nation that's providing you with excellent, healthy information. And we're so proud to be a part of the community because we realize that when we're part of the community, we're a part of you. And we're here because of you, so that you can grab some things on the run that will make a difference in your life for the rest of your life. You only need a little bit. Put it in action, and then you'll never be the same. We're here focused on better health, mind, body, and medicine. And we're so grateful and so thankful that you are with us today. Look, I have a special guest with me. We're going to talk about her a little later, but I want you to know that even the song that you were listening to earlier is called The Fighters. You know why it's called The Fighters? Future, it stands for Future in Great Health. Today, every day, responsible self. And those of you who are online, you can see my shirt that says The Fighters. Listen, we have to fight for our health. Good health is not going to come to us. We got to go and get it, right? We got to be placing things in our system that's going to help our system. And we know by starting out in the morning or afternoon or whenever you're eating, if you put the right nutrients into your system, it's going to benefit you. And you're going to have a marvelous day when you treat your body with respect. When I say treat your body with respect, I mean in respect to your liver, your lungs, and your kidneys, and your heart. These are some of the main organs that the body can't do without. And we can't keep treating them like junk and expect them to save our run. We got to treat them with some respect. Treat them like they are alive, because they indeed are alive. So I want you to be serious about who you are and who you have with you. I said that my liver, my lungs, and my kidneys and my heart, they're like my children, and I have to take care of them. And I mentioned to you before, if we treat our children like we treat our organs, they'll lock us up for child abuse because we misuse them and abuse them until we need them. But look, until they stop working, but we need them all the time. And so what we need to do is, before we get sick, treat them with some respect. Can we put some respect? Hey, listening audience, can we put some respect on our organs? They are alive and well, and we need to stop killing them with junk every day, every hour, and then turn around and expect them to operate like like nothing has happened, like everything has gone into their bodies, that you put into your bodies, that's good for them. And we know that's not true, but today is a new day, and we are changing today. We're not worried about yesterday. We're changing today. We're going to start putting the four categories that we always talk about into our system. We're going to start adding fruits every day. So I want you to ask yourself right now, how many fruits I've had this week? I had some every day. Don't tell me you had some last week, because vitamin C don't store in the body. You need that every day. We're going to talk about the greens. How many, do we have greens in our systems every day? Every day. Do we have beans and peas and things that, do we have the grains, which are our rice and our corn, different things that's going to help our body to grow and to stay alive. That's what we need. We can't keep putting dead stuff in our body and expect to feel alive. It doesn't work that way. You need to put live things into a what? Live body. Yes, now you're feeling me. So make absolutely sure that the day doesn't pass without you making sure you have some fruits today. Are we good with that? Absolutely. Listen, as you know, my mission is to empower you with the ability to view food as medicine and to embrace a plant-based diet for a healthier life. And I am excited to be talking to you about food. I want to give a shout out to Jim in South Carolina for, giving me some recommendations on how we can even be better here at WMPR 90.1 at My Help, My Mississippi. We appreciate all of our callers who are listening. And if you have suggestions, if you have ideas that you want to share, please let us know. And we're going to give you an opportunity later on to call in to ask questions that you may have. But we're all about you. We're not here for us. I tell people all the time, listen, food matters. What you eat matters. Every day, it matters. And high blood pressure is not mandatory. It's not. But action is required. Type 2 diabetes is not mandatory. But action is required. High cholesterol, it's not mandatory. You don't have to have these things and live with it. Like my mom that used to think we had to have this all of our life and die with it. And just because mom and them had it doesn't mean that we have to have it, right? All right, let's talk food. I want you to get your pen, get your paper, write this down because my guest this morning is all the way from Montreal, Canada. I'm so blessed and grateful to have Chef Joanne with me this morning. She is an absolute wonderful plant-based chef. And then when you get a chance, and she'll be back and forth, but when we say Chef Joanne is cooking and it's local, line up because the food is going to be good. Joanne, welcome to the show this morning, and thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a great privilege to be here in Mississippi.
Yeah, and listen, we're happy, very happy to have you here in Mississippi, plugging in to our community because we realize that we need information that's going to be able to bless us. So introduce yourself and tell them where you're from and what you do, and then we're going to jump right into the show.
Well, my name is Joanne Goodluck, and I'm from Montreal, Canada. And it is a great privilege, like I said before, to be here. And I am here in this life, I think my calling is basically to work with the health, teach people to know the truth, why they eat. And I'm passionate about letting people understand, why do you eat? Let's get to the truth of the matter, because I think from the beginning there's a lie. There's a lie told to our first father, Adam and Eve. And the lie was about eating. And there was a lie when Jesus was hungry. It was told to him, turn this stone into bread, and it was about eating. And today I feel that we are at the same level. A lie has been told to us about eating, so we should eat this or we should eat that, and really and truly we have not take time to understand the whole truth of eating. So why do you eat?
Why do we eat?
Why?
You know what? I love that line. Why do we eat? And I know our listening audience, before the day is over, we're gonna know why we eat. Am I right about it?
Why do you eat?
Absolutely. So tell us, for the listening audience, because and I always say this, if we had more food education, Chef Joanne, we'll be on less medication. But nobody have taken the time to share with us what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, none of that. They hand us up stuff and say, eat it, and that's all we know. And so when we grow up like that, then we're not just growing up like that with ourselves, but we're growing up like that, developing and leaving a generation, a legacy, right? Because we pass down what we know, even if we are not intentionally doing that. The children are watching us and they are duplicating what we're doing. And a lot of times they'll have the same diseases that we have. And that's why I've intentionally made sure that I put the right things in my mouth so that I won't leave high blood pressure and high cholesterol and diabetes like my mom had to deal with down to my family. So I'm curious, why do we eat?
Well, I think we should understand that we were comprised of cells. And cells is comprised of tissues, and tissues comprise of organs, and organs comprise of a living man.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe if we have not treat the cells with respect, as you rightly said before, we are from a cellular level. So
Mm-hmm.
if we will treat the cells with respect, with love, to
Mm.
nourish those cells, to teach these cells, these cells, they be like us. They poo, they eat, they drink, they do these things like us. So if we will treat them with respect, then we will have great tissues, and we will have great organs, and we will be a full healthy man. We could probably say that everyone is like 7 years old, because every 7 years we have a new body. So we need to treat this body with respect. Like sometimes I say to people, this is a house. And
Yes.
in every house, there's a special room for everything.
Uh-huh.
What you will do in the bathroom, you wouldn't do in the kitchen, and what you will do in the kitchen, you wouldn't do in the bedroom. And in our bodies, in this house, there is organs.
Yes.
It's there is organs like furnitures. You
Yes.
don't have the same furnitures in the kitchen, and you don't have the same furnitures in the bedroom. You don't have the same furnitures in the living room. You don't have the same furnitures, but you have some furnitures there. So
Right.
in our organs, in our bodies, we have organs. We have liver. We have pancreas. We have everything in there, small, large intestine. We have lungs. We even have our skin, which is the
Yes.
largest
Organ.
organs of the body. And inside we have the liver, which is the largest organs inside, which is like a sewer. If
Uh-huh.
you don't take care of your toilet in the kitchen, in the house, it's gonna smell. So
Yes.
if you don't take care of the liver, it will not function for you, because it functions over 500 different function it operates with. So we gotta take care of this house. This is your temple. In this temple, we care for it. In
Wow.
this temple, we
Mm-hmm.
put things in it. Sometimes too we look at the church as a temple. So we go in and we so holy, and we look up to this statue of this building, and we reverence it. But this
Mm-hmm.
temple, we tend to forget
Wow.
how we need to treat it.
Wow.
So we are here to let people understand, why do we eat? We eat because we want to nourish this temple, nourish this body, nourish these organs that's in these bodies. And this is why we should consider why we eat. We're not eating because we're hungry. We're eating because the body needs to be nourished. Therefore, we must reach for things that will not break it, but to nourish it.
Okay. We're gonna have to go back and listen to this. That was so awesome. We're gonna have to go back and listen to this. I was trying to take notes, but I'm just gonna go back and listen to it. So, our body, when we eat, we're nourishing our bodies, and we should think about how we're nourishing our bodies. Rather, so it's not just about the taste bud. Okay, so when we reach for something, we're nourishing the body. It's what we should be thinking.
We should be thinking like that.
Yeah.
You mentioned the taste bud. Our taste bud is so perverted. The natural taste of the tongue, it's supposed to be neutral, sweet, bitter, sour, these kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
But we have perverted so much by just eating so much. I believe things like fry, or lots of buttery, creamy, have removed the bitter taste, have removed the sour taste. So if I should give you something sour that you feel you're not used to, you're gonna
Right.
say, if I should give you something bitter, you say, because that is already change. It is perverted. So we need to bring back that natural taste, because the liver is happy when we say, take something bitter.
Wow. I always say that And I like the analogy that you made of the house with different rooms, and we have furniture in different rooms because we do have organs in different rooms. But I often say our mouth is the door to the house where our organs live.
That's right.
And we need to stop allowing any and everything in our house
Mm-hmm.
affecting our organs.
Mm-hmm.
Because listen, they don't just jump to the organs, they come through the door, which is the mouth of the house where they live. And we invite these different things in. And we do that, I believe, Chef Joanne, because we've been taught wrong for so long, and we believe in what people tell us, commercials and everything like this, and we don't realize and we don't understand why we are eating. So one of the things that you said, and I want you to talk about it when we were together, partaking of some fabulous food. You said ignorant is the worst disease that anyone can have.
Yes. Ignorance.
Explains that. Yeah, you can repeat it and explain that to me. What does that mean?
Ignorant is the worst disease that anyone can have. You know, let's go back when we were children. Our parents taught us to eat well, to
Mm-hmm.
chew properly. Even in school, I remember when I was in kindergarten, they would say, eat, chew the food 75 times.
Right.
Now we hardly chew the food, you know.
Just
So
gobble it down.
we cut and almost cut and swallow, you
Yeah.
know. And we grew up learning that, but we
Mm-hmm.
missed that because society have got us so busy. So we can say our parents did it, my grandmother did it, my grandfather did it, and I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not supposed to be. That was then. Now it's me. Now it's now. So I have to read. I must study how to take care of these organs. I must also study the physiology and the anatomy of this house. This is the house I'm living in. So we must read and study and inform ourselves about the things that is good for this house.
And that's why we are here at my Mississippi to help inform people, because you should be listening to shows like this, podcasts, reading. I always say, feed your body, feed your mind,
That's right.
and you need to do it all the time. So you're saying ignorance is not an excuse,
No, no,
because we have access to the truth.
right.
Although we've been taught wrong for so long,
Hmm.
there's no excuse living with that lie anymore.
That's right. That's right. And information is so vast today.
Yes.
It's not like we were growing up and we didn't have what we have. I mean, information on health is vast.
Yeah.
And it's time for us to really walk away from the lie. As you said, we should eat fruits.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people fruit is not a snack. Fruit is a meal.
It's a meal.
So,
Okay.
so it's not a snack. Most people will say, I'm a holistic nutritionist and I do consultation as well. So when I consult, you will see people would say, well, I had cereal for breakfast and I have some eggs and some bacon and
Mm-hmm.
and things like breakfast is not just something that says it's breakfast. Breakfast is it's a meal. We should sit down and have a meal. So when we have a breakfast in the morning, it's so sugary.
Mm-hmm.
It takes us on a high. It brings us down on a low.
Mm-hmm.
Then we reach for another sugary because we feel low.
Mm-hmm.
We feel drained because that sugar cereal brought us down so
Mm-hmm.
low. And we go back with another. Maybe it might be a donut or a Coke or something sweet because
Mm-hmm.
that's what the body is craving for at that time. So
Right.
we have another, and then we have lunch. It could be another sweet something, and then it's supper. It could be another sweet something. But fruits is a meal.
Mm-hmm.
Breakfast is a meal. We should have a great breakfast every morning that we wake up.
And when we place the right fuel into the body, because and I say this because we're passing this down to our children. It's easy to grab a box of cereal, and that cereal, how it treats us, treats them the same way, right? They're up and they're down, but we're not treating our organs with respect, I like to say, when we just allow what man has said breakfast look like. You said breakfast is a meal. Breakfast is not cornflakes or sugary this or sugary that.
It
Right?
should look like something more like supper.
Uh-huh.
It should look like, you can have a big bowl of fruits in the morning. The first thing you should aim for is a bowl of fruits. You wake up in the morning. I often say you wake up in the morning, have a glass of lemon water. Get the body moving, get the digestion going. Have a glass of warm lemon water, and then you have your fruits. You have so much fruits here. You can have, when it's watermelon season, add watermelon. You can have some grapes. You can have a mango. You can have some orange. You can have a bowl of fruits. And if you don't feel satisfied with that, have a cup of oatmeal after that. And then you seal your food with the greatest of all the dessert, a handful of nuts of your choice. It could be a handful of pecans or a handful of walnuts, which you will have your essential fatty acid from that. You will have your omega-3 from that. You don't need your omega-3 from vegetable oil or palm oil, or that's no omega-3. That's an omega-6 or 9. So we want to think about food to really nourish the body. When it comes to the lunchtime, we tend to have like a sandwich or something fried, or have a big salad. Have a big salad. Which you might say, okay, I want a salad, maybe some brown rice or some quinoa, something like that. And you have some beans along with that. And that is nourishing. That is feeding the body what it needs. And then we think about our body. We think about it as we treating it with respect, with mind, body, spirit.
Right.
This is how it go. Mind, body. So we treat the mind, we treat the body, and we also teach how the spirit is connected.
Right. That is taking care of the whole
body.
when we can do things like that.
So what our parents did in the past, we have a better knowledge today to make it better. To make it better. Because my mom, she brought us up plant-based. We didn't have meat. If we did have meat, it was like something like Christmas or Easter, and in her language, she was like thinking she was poor. But when I came to Canada, I realized she was the biggest nutritionist or dietitian you could think about, because she fed us the way that I've learned. Having fruits, having a big meal breakfast, a big meal lunch, and in the evening we have something very small. Very small.
Talk to me about that evening meal and why it should be very small.
Well, there's a saying that we eat like a king in the morning.
Okay.
We eat like a princess in the afternoon.
Okay.
And then we eat like a pauper at night.
Okay.
So your most of your energy is in the morning. And the reason why people sometimes, I believe, think that they're not a morning person is because the meal is too heavy at night.
Right.
So these organs in our body, they have to work so hard to digest that meal that we put in at 7 and 8 and 9, or before we go to bed. We put in that heavy meal, and then we try to go to sleep. We know where we could sleep. We could not sleep with all that meal in the stomach. We will toss, we will turn, we will not sleep, and we will wake up tired in the morning. So then we might say, I'm not a morning
Morning
person.
person.
Of course, you're a morning person. It's just that the meal was too heavy. So these organs in our body have to digest that instead of they resting to allow us to get the best sleep, to break down the body and rebuild the body, because God have made this body so complex. There's a force that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my thoughts will ever praise thee. So we are fearfully and wonderfully made. So these organs must sleep at night.
Mm.
As we sleep, they should sleep. So when the body comes to that stage to break down and rebuild itself, we will wake up feeling so energized that I'm ready to take on my work. So you have a decent breakfast. Most people said, I don't want to eat heavy in the morning because I fall asleep. Of course, you eat late at night. In the morning, another meal. It's too much. The body needs to break down and rest, rebuild itself and rest. So we need to give these organs some rest. So we take a big breakfast because we are working, we have energy,
Right.
we're doing this thing. And lunchtime, we're still working, the sun is still out, we're still working. But in the evening, it should be so small, something that would digest easy. And then we can go to bed. Something that would digest faster than the big meal that we would have. So I would say, that meal it could be something of some strawberries, a bowl of strawberries, a bowl of blueberries, a bowl, fruits, like some fruits that can digest faster than later.
So this way, we don't just go to sleep, but we are able to rest because the body is resting and we can all be in sync.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so we got to intentionally treat the body like it is this complex, wonderfully made machine with this house with different rooms, with different organs, different parts, and we all need to be on the same wavelength.
That's right. That's
when
right.
we're feeding. This is why we eat, when we eat, and
What
we
eat.
eat.
Yes. So when we eat, why we eat, what we eat. So our body is naturally made, and it made from the ground. So it is wise for us to educate ourselves. If this body was made from the ground, we must eat from the ground.
I love saying, if we want to be healthy and stay around, eat from the
We
ground.
must eat from, it's a natural process. We look at the animals, they're eating from the ground.
Yes.
They eating from the ground.
Yes. Well, we're going to be right back with Chef Joanne. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Responsible. Well, thank you. We are back. And listen, we're on the air because wherever you are, we want to be there. And we have some people who are helping us to be here so we can be where you are. So I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Armada Senior Care. You can reach them at 601-864-3752. That's Armada Senior Care. Tell them you heard about us on WMPR 90.1 on My Help, My Mississippi. Listen, if you're looking for a job and you love helping people and caring for people, give Mata a call at 601-864-3752 and ask for John. John Merrill, a good friend of mine. He does a marvelous job. And I love that they have a center that cares for our, uh, they have people that go out and care for our seniors. And we're also, we would like to give a shout out to Tabernacle Ministry Academy. They're at 2025 North Sidewell Road. You could give them a call at 769-216-2000. They find this show is worthy to be supported. So we want to thank both of them for giving us an opportunity to be with you this morning so we can be on the air. And we are indeed blessed again to have Chef Joanne in the house, holistic nutritionist that's giving us some things that that we definitely need. Let me say, I know you're out there listening, but she said so much. You may want to go back and watch it again. So you can go to Charles and the Fighters. That's Charles and the Fighters on YouTube, and you can hear this broadcast again. So, Chef Joanne, we were talking about this magnificent body that we have. Absolutely magnificent body that we have. And if the truth be told, we may not know that we're doing this intentionally, but we've been again trained wrong for so long. But you said ignorant is the worst disease. And so the information that we're bringing is so you won't have to be ignorant about this magnificent body. Is that right?
We shouldn't be ignorant because this is our house.
This is our house.
This is our house.
Not anybody else's house.
You know, we treat our cars and our homes better than we treat this body.
I've said that so many times.
There's a verse in the Bible that says that we must love ourselves as we love others.
Yes.
And if we have our cars, we all have cars.
Yes.
And we're driving and we hear a little tick, 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 very uncommon song. Oh, I have to go to get this check. But the body would be growling or it will be having pain and we're not paying attention. And sometimes we pay attention in the wrong way.
Right.
So we will run to someone else to say, I have a pain, instead of stop and say, what's going on with me? Am I feeding myself well? Am I putting the right fluid in my body? Am I really energizing my cells? Am I working for me in the sense of making me healthy? No one wants to die. No one wants to die. You
said we should be asking ourselves and trying to figure out what fuel we need to put in our body. We're in a society this automobile, as you explained, this house, as you explained, when we hear a leak or the air conditioner run out or we hear tick, tick, tick in the car, something abnormal, we are going to take care of it. How we take care of this tick, tick in the body, we'll run for medication, we'll run to a doctor. That's why I always say we're empowering people to view food as medicine.
That's right.
That's our mission statement, My Help, My Mississippi. So you're saying we should be running to food as medicine first. Now, we're not saying that a doctor is not part of our life or a clinician is not part of our life. We don't want you to stop taking your medication. We want you working with your physician, but we want you to look at food, to view food as medicine, right? Staying as close to the ground as possible. I want to be healthy, stay around, eat from the ground, right? And we're going to talk about a particular food in a minute here, but is that what we're saying? We should be looking to figure out how food can fix what we're feeling.
Yeah, because the car is talking and our body is talking.
Hmm.
So we need to really stop, and we feel sometimes headache, we feel weak, we feel pain. And I'm not saying don't go to a doctor. We you know, they have their place.
Right.
A doctor have their place. If they, you know, you break a leg, you get in an accident, you know, you go get yourself a little patch up, you know.
Hmm.
But if you haven't really uh, talked to yourself and recognize you're doing the right thing, you need to stop. We need to start thinking about, what am I putting in? Why am I having this pain in my side? Because when I go to the doctor with a pain in my side, maybe it might be surgery. What caused the surgery?
Hmm.
What would cause that pain? You know, maybe it might be prescription. And the prescription is not really helping because that's not what the body is telling me. The
Hmm.
body talks. It talks.
Hold up. The body talks.
Yes, it
The
talks.
body talks.
Yes,
You
it
know,
talks.
again, I was telling someone that because I talk to my body, and I was
Mhm.
just using this as an example. I was saying because Mr. John had given us a testimony about his brother with diabetes, and they had to end up cutting his toes off. And so I tell people all the time that I talk to my liver, my lungs, and my kidneys, and you're telling us that they talk to us.
When we have a fever, it's not
It's
to kill us.
it's not to kill us.
No,
When
it's
we
not.
have a fever, it's not to
It's
kill us.
not really to kill us. It's telling you that something
Something
invaded, come in.
something has
You invade the
invaded.
body, you know, and I
Yes.
have to fight. I'm
Mm-hmm.
fighting to fix
Fighting,
it. You
fighting
see?
for our
So
health. Yes,
you
that's that
gotta
fighting
fight to
sound
fix
now.
it.
It's fighting sound.
So you gotta ask yourself, you know, we go through things the body tells us. Like you go to the bathroom and be constipated.
Mm-hmm.
That's a sign the body is saying something is wrong. So what causes the constipation? It's not the constipation may come on because of what I eat,
Mm-hmm.
the time I eat,
Mm-hmm.
and what I didn't put in.
And oh,
You know.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't want this. I don't want us to run past this. It's not just that we eat, but it's what we put in it. So in other words, there are some food that can really help the body, which is where I want us to go now because I have a food, and we'll talk about it. It's an antioxidant property. It's good for the bones. It boosts the immune system, which is what we need. It promotes gut health. This one food is rich in iron. It regulates blood sugar. It aids in weight management. It supports heart health. It's high in fiber, which is really cool, and rich in protein. And you know, people always ask me, where do you get your protein from when they find out that I've been plant based over the years. But this particular food that we're talking about here, it's a simple bean. It's lentils, the smaller beans. And it does all of that I just read. So it's important what we put in our body to help our body. Is that what you say?
And when we put
And
it
when
in.
we put it in.
Yeah. When you think of lentils, you is thinking about a steak
Mm.
or chicken. The
Okay.
same properties you think a steak have,
Oh,
lentil have. The same properties you think chicken have, lentil have.
lentils.
The only difference between them is that the steak or the chicken doesn't have fiber, but lentil have the fiber.
Right.
So we need that fiber to move things. A fiber is like sweeping the home, or a vacuum. It's like vacuuming the
We
home.
gotta
So we
sweep,
gotta
right?
sweep. So this fiber is like a broom in our system. So this is where the fruits come in, the vegetables, the beans, the nuts, the seeds. We get these things as fiber, omega 3. We don't need too much of the omega 6 and 9. We need omega. We need to balance it off omega 3 with a bit of 6. You see, so
Right.
we get our high protein from these lentils. It's more than a steak. It's more than eggs. It's
Wow.
more than bacon. It's more than chicken. It's more than anything you
Wow.
could think about because it's giving you everything you need. And nothing sweet like lentils. You have four different colors. You have the green, you have the black, you have the brown, and you have the red. And you could do whatever you can make bread. You can make pizza with lentils. You can make bread with lentils. You can make a soup. It's so
And by the
much.
way, you make a real good soup with lentils. I had that lentil soup. Okay, I'm
You
sorry.
can
Go
make
ahead.
you can make some balls. I don't want to say meatballs, but it will be lentil
Lentil
balls,
balls. Yeah.
and you can make that and have a nice meal with that.
I've had.
Ye-
I've even made meatloaf. Well, we
Yes,
call it
that's
meatloaf, but
right.
it's lentil loaf. But we're
That's
gonna leave it
right.
with that. Yes.
So lentils is a versatile food. It is a cheap staple.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
not only have all that nourishing properties for the body, but it is also cheap.
Yes.
You could feed a whole family with lentils for just $3 or less. And
Wow.
I'm not talking even the can. Yes, the can, but you could buy a pack of lentils. I bought lentils at Walmart. Um, it's $2 and some change, 17 cents or something like that. And that is like pound and a half.
Wow.
And its yield, when you soak it or you cook it, it yield, it increase. So you really have, and you could just put that lentils with some onions, some garlic, some little celery, little carrot, and you have a full meal there. Or you can throw some brown rice in there, and you have a complete meal. And that with a salad, you're ready to go. You can make some bread, and you just take that lentil bread that you would make and just put some homemade almond butter, homemade cashew butter on top of that bread. You got a full meal
Just gave
with
us a.
some fruits.
You just gave us a recipe.
Yes. And that is nourishment for the body. So
Yeah.
so we having lentils is it's very important. Beans, it's the highest fiber. If you're diabetic and you want to let that blood sugar go in the right order, just have beans. If you have cornflakes and you have Cheerios and these things just break the body more.
Right.
But have a and like I say, breakfast is a meal. We have to see, you see, most of us see supper as a meal
Mm-hmm.
or lunch as a meal, but we do anything for breakfast.
Right.
Breakfast is a meal, and it should be the first meal of the day. I mean, I know the world is showing us that we could intermittent fasting and have intermittent fasting from 12 o'clock and 4 or 7, the last meal. When do you go to bed if you go to eat at 7?
Mm-hmm.
So why don't do the intermittent fasting in the morning?
Mm-hmm.
Do the intermittent fasting in the morning, have your breakfast, have your lunch, and then fast for the evening. So
Mm-hmm.
then you go to bed with an empty stomach. You will get a good sleep. You won't have to go to the doctor and say, I can't sleep at night. And he gives you the sleep pack. No, he will give you a prescription. No, you just go home and retrack when I eat, what I eat, and why I eat, and then you will be able to get a good night rest.
And what you just said at the end, food is nutrient and it shouldn't interfere with our rest. It should help our rest. So the timing that we eat it is just as important as what we're eating.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to make sure we eat like a popper in the evening
Yeah.
so that our body
Can
can break
break
it
down and
down.
rebuild itself
You
during
know,
the sleep
one
times.
of the reasons, when I started this journey over 25 years ago now, I was we had a fast at the church and I felt so amazing.
Is that the Daniel fast?
It was the Daniel's fast,
But
yes.
Daniel didn't have a fast.
Yeah.
That was originally from original. That's what God intended for us to have.
Absolutely.
Because he said in Genesis 1:29, he said that the fruits and the nuts and the seed is meat.
That's what he
He
called it.
said meat. And
Yes.
throughout the Bible, when he spoke about flesh, he said the animal is flesh. So you see how the enemy have changed the words.
It's marketing and it's about money. But when I backed away from that, I felt so amazing. I thought, why would I ever go back to feeling miserable again?
Yeah, yeah. And Daniel was what? Daniel was the wisest.
Oh, yeah.
And he said that he didn't want to compromise his health. He purposed in his heart that he will eat that Daniel, that meat, that mean he purposed that what I will
That was,
remain with. So that's what something he did from the beginning.
that is absolutely wonderful. Caller, you on the air? You have a question or comment?
I do. I'm very confused here. I know y'all say you don't supposed to eat food. I'm not for sure on the scripture or anything, but I'm trying to find out that part about Jesus fed people's the fish and all of that. Why did he feed them fish if it wasn't something good for us to eat?
Well, we're not saying this is our diet, Colin. Thank you so much for calling. We're not saying what you are supposed to eat. We're telling you what you're eating could be causing you to be ill. And when we talk
Okay.
about the Daniel fast, okay, that scripture,
Mm-hmm.
it was talking
Right.
about the plants and all of this, okay? So
Right.
again, to the listening audience, I would never tell you what to eat, but like Chef said, ignorance can be the worst disease. So when you know something, so research what fish will
Science.
do. Science, research what meat would do. Research what causes cancer. Research. It is at our fingertips now. But don't think I'm telling anybody to change the diet. I am 69 years old, take zero medication, and I can say it is working for me, but I can't say what's working for anybody else. Okay. I don't,
Well, can,
medication
can
is
I
not my
ask you?
destination. Sure. Go
Can
ahead.
I ask you, what would you eat? Would you eat? I mean, would you eat fish? If you did eat fish, why not? If you don't mind
Oh,
answering
no, that's a great question. Would I eat fish? And if I don't, why not? No, I wouldn't eat fish. Why not? Because I don't need the animal products in the system that's causing what's been proven toxin and different things like that. I don't need that.
that.
That's
Okay,
why
all
I
right.
don't do it. Okay. That makes sense?
Okay, I'm with you.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense. Yes. But you're not. I clearly understand now. You're not saying that you don't supposed to eat it. You're just saying you won't put it in your system because of that. Okay. I just want to get a clear understanding on that because I'm a big fish eater, and I did see in the Bible that's the only meat that I saw that, and it was a key. It was a key meat in the Bible too. One of the only one that was spoken of eating. So anyway, that's what I want to know, and I appreciate you for taking my call.
No, I appreciate you for listening, caller. Have a great day. Okay. Thanks,
You
buddy.
too. Thanks.
All right. Yeah, I really appreciate the caller for, for bringing that out. And I want to make it very, very clear why I do what I do. My family, I watch them. I mean, talk about fish fries and all of this and all the different things they had. They had the diseases that came along with that. And I made a conscious choice that I don't want blood pressure. Ain't Mary, ain't DC, ain't Willie, ain't Mad. All of them had high blood. My mom, all of them had high blood pressure. All of them was a diabetic, being
And
treated for
the
diabetes.
time when Jesus really, you could say the time when Jesus did fed the disciple fish, it was not this time. It was at some point we got to make changes, and this is where um, when I said ignorant is the worst disease, is that we need to research.
Yes,
We need to start thinking for us, for what is good for me, because we have too much meds in our cabinets.
we do.
We have a lot of meds in our cabinets, so our mind need to change. Our precept of our thinking need to change. We need to move into our system, our times, and recognize so much toxin, so much pollution.
Exactly. And I want to say the water is different, but I don't want to get too complex in there because I want
Right.
everybody to make their own choice. I can talk to you about what the water was like then and what the water was like now and how it wasn't so contaminated with all of the different things. This society that we're in currently is about dollars, and they're going to do whatever it takes to make the dollars. And this is a free country, and the opportunity for people to make money is going to be there, and they can do it the way they want to do it. But I have to make some choices. I can't let you feed me what you want to feed
What
me.
you think is best.
Right. So I can go to a seminar, and I was at one recently, and they're going to say, we're going to feed you. We have a meal is included, right? Now that meal is something that they chose, and they negotiated with the vendor to bring that meal, and they didn't ask me what I ate, what I want. They just said, we're going to feed you. And everybody will fall in line and eat whatever somebody else told them to eat. I make a choice, and I have the option of saying, I don't want that. I'm not going to do that. And that's what I would do. I would choose not to eat that. And that's just the way that I do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we're living in a time where information is so vast now.
Yes.
And it's to just pay attention to our bodies.
Mhm.
Pay attention personally to us. Do we want to make some changes, or do we want to remain the same?
Right.
And this is where the mind has to also work with the body,
Mhm.
because we have to think that it's mental, it's spiritual, and it's physical. So
Mhm.
we kind of change the mindset. There is a video out there with a doctor showing that he did some experiment on criminals, and he changed their diet.
Mhm.
And when he changed the diet to plant-based, these criminals was very calm and collective, and they were, when he changed it back to do that experiment, and he changed it back, they become more aggressive.
This is science.
Yes,
This is science. And food matters. If when we don't understand that food matters, the power of food can affect your mood. I say that all the time. When we put things in our body that can affect our body, yeah, it affects the way we think, it affects the way we react, it affects how we do our job, how alert we are. Food matters. So we should purposely have a plan on how we're going to care for our bodies with the proper nutrient. We need to take some time to have a plan. I tell people all the time, it's okay to plan to be healthy. I mean, we plan for everything else. We'll plan to be on our job, to do what they say there. We'll plan to be in and everywhere, but we don't plan for our health.
We plan for retirement.
We plan for retirement, vacation
and
too,
we
don't
also
we?
plan that we will have the best funeral as well.
Yeah.
But basically, we must really take our health seriously.
Yeah.
It's the only thing we have, and it's time that we really truly start taking care of our own health. We must, even if you have this radio show every week or
Mhm.
month, whatever you do, it and the information come through. That is where the mindset to change. Am I gonna
Right.
let me give it a test?
Right.
Let me try what he's saying. Walk away from what I know and try. Let me
Right.
read up on it. Let me study it.
Yes.
And this information, it will not keep us ignorant anymore. There's a sweet verse that said, "My people perish for lack of knowledge."
Right.
And where there is no knowledge, the people perish.
Right.
So we need to fall in line with what the body is saying. Constipation is real.
Mhm.
And we struggle with so much constipation. And that is the body is saying, listen, I need water.
Mhm.
I need fiber.
Mhm.
I need proper food. I need fiber. The things that we put in most of the time doesn't have fiber.
Absolutely.
In our mind could be constipated as well as the body is constipated. Today, science is showing us that the microbiome of the gut is so vast. Without a proper microbiome,
Mhm.
there is no great function of the body. So let us get ourselves together. Let us inform ourselves. The internet, the social media is wide. It's
Yeah.
vast, and it's bringing really true information that our parents didn't have. That we can follow in line to better ourselves and better our health.
It's right there at our fingertips.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, our show is coming to an end, but I am so thankful and I'm so grateful to have you all the way from Montreal, Canada. And I just want you to know it's not the last time. Even if you're in Canada, we're going to be StreamYarding you in here so that our people can gain this knowledge that we need to have. I want to just say thank you guys for calling in, for taking notes, for meeting me on the street, meet me at different places, saying thanks for the information that we're providing and showing up at the events that we have. I really appreciate you all. So keep listening to My Help, My Mississippi. We're on the air every Thursday morning. I want to just say thank you so much, or not Doctor, but Chef Joanne, for gracing us with your presence today. And the audience will be hearing from you some more. Is that all right?
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Have a good day, guys.